We're back here. We're just talking a little high school football with
Yeah.
Bruce, with the legend, Bruce Cooper, folks, here with us every Tuesday. Appreciate you coming in as always. Good to see you. Always looking good. No Diamondbacks gear on today, folks.
Well, the Diamondbacks have chapped me here.
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah. Here they were. They had won 10 of 12. They were like, 6 games over 500.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, this is going good.
Yes.
Because they took the first game of the series against the Nationals.
Yep.
So the games Saturday and Sunday, second and third games of that series, they had to turn it over to a pair of rookie pitchers, Mitch Bratt and Cole Drake.
Yep.
It didn't go well for either one. They lost those two. So I'm thinking, okay, now we move on. We lost that series. Now we don't even have that tiebreaker against the Nationals when it comes down to it.
Right.
Well, let's go take care of business against the Pirates. Merrill Kelly was throwing an excellent game. I mean, I don't know what his insistence of trying to pick off the runner at first base. That led to a wild pitch runner at third base. And they eventually score, and they would not have scored if Merrill hadn't thrown. So it's an unearned run. It's
Right.
cut to 2-1. Unfortunately, Loaiza gives up a run in the eighth, back-to-back, 2-out doubles. And now we're tied at 2. This is where I started having a problem with the Diamondbacks. Go to extras now. We're in the 10th. You get that ghost runner. Barosa's the ghost runner. Corbin Carroll's at the plate. It's a rocket to third. I mean, right at the third. 1 out, and we still have the runner at second base. Didn't advance.
Right.
Next batter up. Grounder. 2 outs. But then he threw it away. I mean, he threw the ball away. And so now we have runners at second and third.
Make sure you're talking into the mic there, Coop.
You're looking away there. There you go. Keep talking. Just keep talking.
So we have runners at second and third.
There you go.
1 out with our best hitter, Gabby Moreno. I mean, Gabby's been terrific this year. I mean, he's been the offensive MVP of this team as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Second and third, 1 out, Gabby up. I mean, man, him and his pitch. It's an 11-pitch at bat. He just keeps fouling them off. Then he took a called third strike. So it's 2 out. I'm like, oh. Then they intentionally walked Ketel Marte. I don't know why. Marte's been brutal.
Yeah.
And I brought up Max Kepler, who's the hottest hitter going right now. I mean, he actually wound up with 3 hits in the game. He hit a scorcher to center. It's an out. And so the Diamondbacks holding after
Right.
that game open. And with that said, I mean, here we see the Pirates. I mean, they score a run with the Diamondbacks bringing the infield in, and a scorcher right to first baseman Ildemaro Vargas goes off his glove. Ball game. So now the Diamondbacks are in a 2-way tie for that third and final playoff spot with the team that they just lost to, the Pirates, with games 2 and 3 of that series coming up. But I like the fact that Brandon Pfaadt is going again. Brandon Pfaadt's been their best pitcher since going down to the minors and coming back up.
Can't argue there.
And that's saying something.
Right.
Because, I mean, the way that Eduardo Rodriguez has pitched this season, I mean, it's almost an insult to say that someone's been pitching better than him, but Brandon Pfaadt really has. And so we'll see what happens these next couple of games. But, hey, guys, the trade deadline is next Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so, and obviously we can bounce all around the Diamondbacks. And, Steve and I talked about last week, hey, these 2 series, you can get some great separation from 2 teams that are chasing you.
And they didn't.
Or you can let them back in.
Yeah.
And they've done that.
Really quick, throw up the NL wildcard standings while we're talking about the Diamondback standings here. Sorry, Doug.
Okay. Well, so they're tied there. You see the standings. Coop, you're my age, a little bit older, I think. And I wonder if you took it the same way I did. Like when Kyler Murray scrubbed his Instagram of the Cardinal stuff back when he was looking for a contract, I didn't even think anything of it. I didn't even think, oh, that's serious stuff. I don't know if you did or not, because I'm not an Instagram guy, and I don't believe that's how you send messages. But it was true, evidently. What do you make of your boy Ketel Marte?
Well, it's really mystifying to me because, see, the Diamondbacks can't trade Marte without his approval.
Right.
He's a 10-5 guy. So, I mean, I think the situations are entirely different, really. But I don't know the reason for him scrubbing his Instagram. Look, I'm not a social media guy either. I'm like you. I mean, old school. I don't look into that stuff.
Right.
I don't know what it means, but apparently it has some type of messaging.
Right.
What that messaging is as it relates to Marte, I have no idea. But the bottom line is I know this. Diamondbacks cannot trade him without his approval.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't know why he's getting so up in arms. But look, the guy's been brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, brutal is really bland.
I mean, for his talent level,
Yeah.
though.
I mean, look, there are 3 players that are going into this season that, I mean, I'm talking about 3 of the Diamondbacks' best players: Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, and Geraldo Perdomo. 3 players. I mean, these are guys that have been all-stars on the Diamondbacks.
Oh.
These are 3 players that have not met or exceeded, I'm safe to say this, our expectations.
Right.
I was going to say limited to mine, but I think I can safely say our expectations. They have not met that. I mean, I'm vastly, grossly disappointed with Corbin Carroll. I mean, he just continues to nosedive. And what really chaps me about his play is his penchant for chasing pitches.
The high fastball
the high
specifically.
Yeah. And then Marte, I mean, there's a 3-ball and 1 strike pitch count against him. And the pitcher throws the next 2 pitches in the dirt and he swings and misses, strike 3. Dude, take the damn walk.
Right.
I mean, he really frustrates me. I think Perdomo, of the 3, Perdomo is really trying. I think he's trying too hard because, I mean, when he bats left-handed, he wants to wear the gloves. Then when he bats right-handed, he takes the gloves off. I mean, he's searching for any and everything.
Yeah.
But at least I see something. But he will, like Gabby, he'll work a count. And so, I'm okay with that, but he's just not playing up to that all-star status that he did a year ago.
Right.
I mean, the guy finished, 3rd or 4th in the MVP
Yeah, I was going
battle?
to say, I think 4th in the MVP voting.
And you wonder why the Diamondbacks are scuffling so offensively. I mean, their best players are not having the offensive season we all thought or expected they would have.
Right.
Well, I mean, going 2, what was it? 2, let me look it up real quick. 2 for 14 yesterday in runners in scoring position.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's just they have chances. Every game they have chances. Every other team they play is like 2 for 6 or 4 for 9. And you're getting multiple guys are getting in scoring position and you're not able to move them around. And you're doing it in astronomically higher numbers than your opponents are. And you're not able to get them home. It's just absolutely killing you in those moments. Guys are hitting. Everybody's above 200 except for Barossa, who came in yesterday for
he's
Walt
always
Schmidt.
a defensive replacement.
But
anyway.
exactly. And even with Walt Schmidt making that catch against the wall, it's like, obviously he can play defense, coach. You can leave him out there. But I digress. But the Diamondbacks aren't able to score, but they're getting more guys into that position. It's continuing to happen. I mean, I get it. It's the player's fault. I get it. Carroll's going after high pitches. Walt Schmidt, loves those high pitches as well. That's why he was sent down originally. He's trying to learn that as a young kid. But at some point, we're coming up on August 1st.
Yeah.
I mean, you can blame the players all you want. Where's the coaching at to help these guys with it? It might be happening and they're not listening, but if that's happening, doesn't that say something?
Well, here's the frustrating part to me is because they were on a stretch of 10 of 12.
Right.
And then, of course, we all remember when they had that stretch against the Giants and Rockies when they were just like, maybe 11 of 13 or whatever. But, I mean, it's almost like for every step forward, there's a step back. If they take 3 steps forward, it's 3 steps back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the lack of consistency is just overwhelming. And the biggest culprit is clearly the hitting. I mean, their pitching has exceeded expectations, if you will. I mean, particularly the bullpen.
Right.
I mean, their starters obviously have suffered some injuries there. I mean, the biggest being Soroka. I don't think anybody's going to shed any tears over Gallen being out because he.
Right.
I mean, but look, their starting rotation with Ryan Nelson and Michael Soroka being out has really affected their play because they've had to rely on a couple of rookies. And
and then
Cabrera,
the bullpen's getting more action now
Yeah,
because of those young guys. You had to do more bullpen people, so they're starting to struggle a little bit. Not yesterday's game, the game before Sunday against the Nationals.
Yeah, when Garcia,
that bullpen was just trash.
Yeah,
that
Brandon
day.
Garcia has just been. I mean, he's been next to invincible,
Yeah.
and yet he gave up 3 runs Sunday. 2 of them earned, and
Yeah.
it's like, geez.
But I mean, anytime you're starting pitcher, now you wanted to see him go 6 innings this time of year. Don't get me wrong, but Merrill Kelly had the one unearned run, right? But 5 2/3 and no earned runs generally, but he did give it the one and stuff
But
like that.
But if he didn't make the errant pickoff throw, then he
Yes.
goes 6 innings complete.
And that's the thing. It's like it's that close of a level. And then you're on the stretch where you get no days off for till next Thursday, I think. It's a long stretch here. They're
I
on the
think they
road
might
on
have
top
one
of it.
off this Thursday.
Is it this Thursday?
I think they have one Thursday.
And so
That's
you've
what I
had this long stretch of on the road, home, and then on the road, adding that extra day in
St.
St. Louis. And your bullpen, it's just you could tell the exhaustion's hitting them right now as well. And I think it stems from throwing. And what happened to Cabrera? Why all of a sudden is he not getting a chance?
Well, what I heard is when they sent him down, they couldn't make a move with him for another. Either
It's a time frame or
either
something?
15 days
Yeah.
or 15 games.
Yeah.
I'm not. It was 15 in there, but I don't know if it was 15 days.
But don't
or
you
15
plan for
games.
that ahead of time?
Well, I think you would think you would.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
These 2 young kids pitched well. I'm not saying they don't deserve their spot. But to me, Cabrera's the guy that should be up here starting.
Well,
and pitching.
Cabrera has pitched better than
That's what I'm getting at.
either one of them.
Yeah,
And,
but they didn't pitch bad.
Particularly, no. I thought Cole Drake. I didn't mind seeing him pitch again, but Brett has not.
That's a weird pitching
yeah,
style.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can get used to that.
Yeah, but look, you're absolutely right. I mean that's a front office error. I mean, if you send him down, and I know they sent him down just before the All-Star break.
Well, they also were saying Soroka would be back right after the All-Star break, and then we come back from the All-Star break, and they're like, he's going to start pitching in, warming up to come back and doing all those types of stuff. And it's like, so that's what I get to here, though, and what I struggle with. Where's the coaching? And if the coaching is happening and the players aren't listening, that's another coaching issue you have. So no matter which way you look at it, for me, it kind of swirls around the coaching staff. And then on top of it, just these continued decisions on the front office, with these decision-making stuff, it's just like, what has happened? Because now the bullpen's being stressed as we go through it. And let's take our break here. Come on back. We'll keep talking about it out there as well. I want to point out something else on those wild card standings that is standing out to me like a sore thumb. Besides the fact that Diamondbacks can't beat teams that are equal to them or better, I want to point something else out. And this is, to me, a problem. You guys are going to laugh at me because you guys always do. Come on back. Second hour main event coming up next.
Can I laugh now?
Dale's like 36 years, 12 days,
38.
12 days, 6 hours, and 32 seconds. We're
Oh,
back here, second hour main event.
Of wedded bliss.
We're just Dale asked
For-
Coop how
for
long he's
Dale.
been married.
For Dale,
Yeah.
wedding
Yeah.
Dale, yeah.
Well, whose wife doesn't listen. Of course, we're here. Bruce Cooper here on Tuesdays as well. Local legend, Bruce Cooper. Gonna work on a voice thing for you to make this good and stuff like that. And of course, Dale Hellestree. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum as well. And we're just talking some D-backs here, but throw up those NL wildcard standings here. We know bats are a problem this year. I question some of these decisions. We talked about the Cabrera deal. But this is my problem, and it's not the first time we've seen it. So Diamondbacks have lost 3. The teams they're competing with, if you want to, include Phillies, they're 3-7 in their last 10 games, right? Nationals lost 1. Now they're 6-4 because they beat the Diamondbacks 2 out of 3, right? Cardinals lost 2 here as well. Your competition for these playoff spots are struggling right now. They're scuffling right now, and now you're going into a scuffle on top of it right before the trade deadline as well. So much so, I heard Hazen over the weekend, I think it was, or maybe it was Friday, saying, well, we don't necessarily need a buy because we're going to get Gallen back and Soroka back and J Mart's about to come back. So they're already setting it up as we're going to stand pat going into this trade deadline as well. But it frustrates me to all heck, guys, on why this team cannot pull away from the teams that are equal to them on the standings. It frustrates me.
I just don't think that Hazen can stand pat.
I think the market's going to be really quick. I think he's falling back on that because I think the market, you're not going to have as many guys available as you thought you would have. And I think the market's going to be really expensive for people. I just think that's going to be the reason. So they're going to fall back on, we're adding guys that are injured.
Well, here's what I do know. The Diamondbacks cannot rely on Max Kepler. Because we all know that if they do make it to the postseason, he's an eligible player.
And who's taking his spot? Think about this for a minute. Pavin Smith's going to come up and take his spot.
Pavin Smith?
Yeah, he's down in Reno.
No. I think they look and see where Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is with his rehab, and look to see where Jordan Lawler is with his rehab. But my whole point is that we all know, I'm not breaking any news here. There's two positions on the Diamondbacks that have grossly underperformed. First base, designated hitter.
Oh, yeah.
And so you go get one bat, and that one bat can plug one of those holes.
Right.
But you cannot go into this postseason and just think that, or just stretch drive, because I'm already putting him in the postseason.
You're a braver man than I am.
You can't go into this stretch drive, with what you have, because clearly there is a disconnect with this team when it comes to consistency.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect when it comes to timely hitting. I mean, it's
not necessarily hitting. That's the point. It's timely hitting when a guy's in scoring position. You can't get him across.
It exacerbated itself last night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and look, their best hitter, Gabby, in two different instances, I believe it was the 6th or 7th inning. There were runners at the corners with one out. He struck out. Then we already talked about what happened in the 10th inning with runners at second and third.
The thing I noticed about that, though, was they pitch, because he's their hottest hitter.
Yeah.
He's the biggest threat right now in those positions.
He's batting over 300.
And they were pitching him like he was the threat he was, because he has no protection around him. Because you can as long as you get rid of him, you don't have to worry about anybody else.
Why would they move Ketel Marte to clean up?
That's issue number 2.
Well, let me throw this out to you, too, as far as the trade deadline. When you look at the National League, there's 3 teams that I would say are eliminated, with a 4th very close. That'd be the Rockies, Mets, Giants.
Yep.
And the Rockies have a lot of players available, including Jake McCarthy.
So those 3, and the Reds are 4.5 out.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that leaves you, but
they're struggling.
And then you look at the American League, and there's 4 teams: the Blue Jays, Royals, Athletics, and Angels, who are 9 games out of wild card spot.
Anybody from the Blue Jays is going to cost an arm and a leg.
And so you look at that, and there's not a whole lot of teams that you can see being sellers.
Yeah, but I think the Angels and I think the Giants are 2 teams that have some particular players that the Diamondbacks could actually get, and it's not going to.
The Giants are going to cost you an arm and a leg, but the Angels guy. But then it comes down to what other guys going out there are going to run that deal up, right? We're going to run the price up on them.
Right. Who else wants somebody?
But do you want to bring in somebody from the Angels? They're not performing on the Angels. You think they're going to come here and perform?
Well, sometimes
as an Angels fan, I'm allowed to say that.
Sometimes a change of scenery, or just the fact that you make a move, you send a message.
Yeah. I mean, you get Mike Trout, and I'm on board for that. Anybody else though? You got a question.
I wasn't thinking of him, but let's look at the Giants for one. I mean, they have a guy named Luis Ariz. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's what, a 3-time batting champion.
It's going to be too expensive for the Diamondbacks.
No,
that's my
but
point.
he's going into his free agent year.
I know. He's going to be a rental.
Yeah.
And he's going to become a free agent. He's not coming here to resign.
Right.
Going someplace to resign.
But, I mean, how much can the Giants expect to get in return?
I agree with that. But isn't it? It's not necessarily the Giants are asking too much. It's that other contending teams are going to want him as well. That can be more aggressive. That's more of your threat than it is the Giants asking too much.
Okay.
So the Diamondbacks are interested and they're in the conversations. Then you got the Yankees, the Red Sox.
I'm not going to get into a bidding war, but I would just think that the other contending teams would be in an opposite mindset of the Diamondbacks, and that they'd be looking for arms and not bats. And I think the Diamondbacks are one of those rare teams that could look for bats instead of arms.
I think the trade deadline is going to be kind of standoffish until Skubal finally finds a home. I think Skubal's going to kind of hold this thing up till late because everybody wants him. Everybody would take him. And so people are going to kind of hold back and say, well, if we get Skubal, obviously it changes what we do other places and stuff. So I think he's going to kind of hold. And the other guy is Miller, the closer for the Padres.
Oh, the Padres aren't getting rid of Wade Miller.
He's going to go.
Are you high?
He's going to go.
Dude.
Well, you know what? Now, I do agree with you on this.
Why would the Padres get rid of the
I'll tell
best
you why.
closer in baseball?
I'll tell you why. They're going to unload some talent. And the reason why is they announced a new ownership group. And it turns out the new ownership group has no money. They haven't done their financing.
Well, if they
to
have
buy
no
the
money,
team.
how are they in a position to buy the
Well,
team?
that's the problem. They came out and announced they don't have their financing in order, so they're not currently buying. They're in line to buy it, but they haven't got their financing. If you're the family of the Padres and you're spending all this money for a team struggling, unless you have a deal with the new ownership where you keep them there, you're going to start unloading some payroll and stuff so you make more money while you're waiting for the sale to go through. That is a legit threat in San Diego. And you have the best closer in baseball, and you're able to make that move to save some money. It's a possibility, Coop. I've been reading all about it. I'm fascinated by this. And if I'm the Diamondbacks, sell your soul to get this guy. Sell your soul.
No, you got your guy here.
I don't care what it costs.
It's going to cost you too much.
For a .09 ERA and
That's
a guy
what I'm
that doesn't
saying.
lose it.
Dude, he.
I know they're not going to, but I can dream, Coop.
But I'm just saying. I'm amazed that there's even rhetoric or narrative out there relative to the Padres unloading Miller. I mean,
he's the biggest guy besides Skubal that's on the rumor
It just
list.
makes zero sense. Look.
I just gave you the sense. The ownership's tired of paying all this money for losers, and they want to make money before they sell it.
Here's the deal. Regardless if I'm trying to unload my team or not, I do realize that I need to put a product out on the field that is representative of my fan base.
You still got everybody else. It's your closer.
Look, everybody else coming back. Look, I'm not trying to unload.
Machado's starting to heat up.
Machado's one of those guys I can get rid of because he's been in the league for 900 years. All right, but I'm not trading Fernando Tatis. I'm not trading Cronenworth, and I sure as heck ain't trading Miller. I mean, I
don't disagree with you. I'm just saying.
Certain people.
I gave you the reason why Padres ownership might unload because they don't have a buyer, and the buyer's not buying it anytime soon.
Well, I tell you what, the Padres they have some idiots for owners.
Well,
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, that's second generation wealth. What do I ever say about that, Dale? They're a little bit idiocy when it comes to that side as well. Out there. I mean, I know the Astros are looking for a bat and outfielders. They can get competitive, but I think they're pretty much out. I know they're still in it technically, but they've struggled all year. So that's the thing. The big bats, there's going to be very few guys out there, and then people are going to be looking for them. And I think that's the Diamondbacks' disadvantage going into this, to be honest with you. So I'm just looking here at, ESPN. I just pulled this up. Skubal obviously is a big name. I think that's going to hold it up because teams aren't going to make trades until they find out if they're going to get him or not. But the Dodgers,
everybody has till Monday.
Well, I know, but if you're going for Skubal and you're not the Dodgers, that's probably going to be your only pickup you're going to be able to do. But if you don't get him, you might be able to make 2 or 3 moves, type of a situation. Unless you're the Dodgers there. I've seen him a lot tied to the Brewers, to be honest with you. Skubal to the Brewers.
Well, the Brewers have been famous for unloading.
That's my thing. And I'm like, is this the year the Brewers change things up as we go on? But I mean, the Braves need help out there. The Cubs need help, to stay competitive in that division with those 2 division rivals as well. The Yankees and Rays.
But in each of those teams, Cubs and Brewers, and Braves, we're talking arms. We're talking arms.
Oh, well,
aren't we?
absolutely. They need pitching help.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Right, you're right there.
So I'm still trying to find a way to get you to jump on my
Okay.
side that we can get Luis Arise.
Well, no. I'm not saying you don't get him, but think about the Mets are going to be unloading some bats.
Sure,
But
they are.
again, but what you're going to run into, like I said, it's not that the Mets are going to be asking for an arm and a leg. It's that any Mets player bat that you're looking at, the Yankees are also going to be looking at, and the Yankees are going to outbid you and pay
Well, they
more
would.
for it if they really want. And that's just one team. Then you got the Dodgers that can outbid you and stuff to that effect. So I just what I'm wondering is because the Diamondbacks have started doing things and saying things like, "Oh, don't forget, we're getting J-Mart back. We're getting, Soroka back." They keep saying Gallen's coming back, which God help us,
They
right?
keep, they
if
keep
that
talking
happens.
about Burns at the start
Yeah,
of September.
exactly. So they're floating that for a reason, Coop, and that's because they're like, if we don't get anybody, the fan base is going to freak out. So we need to start setting the stage that we don't need anybody in case that, because the only way they're not going to get somebody is if they're too expensive. Other than that, they should be competitive, and they should be able to get whoever they want.
Well, this ESPN article, it is interesting. They have two options for Mason Miller going to either the
They have Mailer going.
they said it'd be a blockbuster. One team is the Milwaukee Brewers, and
Brewers need a closer.
Well, see, the Brewers are stupid.
They need a closer. That's a tough division, though.
No, the Brewers. They had one of the great
They did.
all-time closers in Hatter.
Yeah.
And what they did, they freaking traded him to the Padres.
right.
And now they're trying to acquire on that dude. I mean,
Well,
I don't understand.
I think is that the blockbuster trades that could shake MLB
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. So they're kind of speculating on what could have
I
changed things. But you got to remember the Brewers, Cubs, Pirates, Reds are fading a little. That division's tough. And you gotta fight in that division. That's a playoff division. I mean, 3-4 teams in that division fighting for it as well. But really, Brewers would shake it up as well. I'm just telling you, I agree with you. The Padres shouldn't trade Miller,
No.
but there's a situation where they could trade Miller because the new owners don't care if they trade him. They save some payroll, make more money while they're waiting for this deal to close. And they don't care. They're not going to be there after having this deal closes.
Yeah, the reason they're saying is Milwaukee's farm system they term it's so full it's bordering on gluttonous.
Yeah, that is true. They can unload a lot of young talent in Brewers land. I was reading that as well.
Was it Mizrachi? Their starting pitcher
Yeah.
that throws over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
In the seventh inning.
I mean, shoot, if you got people like that on your farm, I guess so.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Brewers. They get their farm systems. The other thing I saw Hazen say, I think it was Hazen or Derek Hall, I don't remember which. They're talking about, they had to have been Hazen. They're talking about packaging some young talent that the Diamondbacks have for young Major League Baseball talent ready to go. And that kind of baffles me a little bit because don't the Diamondbacks have a bunch of young talent in the Major League Baseball that should at least be getting a chance right now? And they're performing decently up here?
Yeah, look.
Why would you unload a bunch of young talent to get young talent to come in with the young talent?
I'll just tell you this. I was very impressed with Jose Fernandez, who made the opening day roster, but then, he began to struggle. They sent him down. But if you look at his size, I think he's one of those guys that could evolve into a 25, 30 home run hitter.
Yeah. You saw the talent at the beginning of the year, no doubt about it.
I mean, his stature and everything. And
but
so,
part of that problem is they started not playing him.
Yeah, because
then you start to be bad.
Again, it's because they are. I mean, Torrey's one of these lovers of veteran players.
Yeah.
So as badly as Arenado was playing, I almost hated to see Arenado come up with runners in scoring position. Now, I will grant you, over the last month or so, he started to pick it up a little bit.
He's walking
but I would have rather given all those at bats to Fernandez.
Yeah, and they always do that with these young kids, and it's so frustrating to watch where guys are doing well and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know. So that's where we are, the Diamondbacks. So if next week at this time when you come in here, Diamondbacks buying or selling? Buyers, are they bought somebody? Are they standing pat? Or are they unloading some talent?
Well, I don't think they'll be sellers. I think it'll be one of two things. They'll either stand pat or they'll buy. And
which one do you favor the most? Like, give odds to that.
Well, just based on your chatter about, and I agree with you that there's a reason why they're saying, "Hey, man, we're going to get these guys back at the healthy again."
Yeah.
So it's setting up.
I mean, it's not a wrong conversation to have. You're
No.
getting some talent back, right? But that's just an excuse.
Yeah, yeah.
To not bring in talent because of price.
Jordan Lawler. I mean,
I forgot about him. You're getting him. Well, reportedly, you're getting him back.
As dynamic as he has played. I mean, if you look at his batting average now, he has a batting average of over 300. That's because he was playing well early. The problem is he's only played early.
I was gonna say who plays more games?
Yeah.
That Lawler guy or Kawhi Leonard? Who plays more?
That's a damn good
Joel
question.
Embiid.
Yeah.
Well, my
Anthony
fear
Davis,
my
yeah.
fear on Lawler is all that momentum he had is gone now.
Oh, sure it is.
So
Sure it
now
is.
it's like, what are you getting back
here's
as
the
a
deal.
young player?
He came back for just a little bit, and he was stroking the ball again. I'm like, wow, this kid. Because I was worried about.
But he was only gone a few weeks at that point. Now he's been gone for a couple months.
Yeah.
I just worry about his moment as a young kid coming back. Is he going to have that momentum there and stuff? I just question the coaching and the decision making.
Oh, see, he goes all the way back. He always brings it back to Torrey.
It's not just Torrey. It's the organization, Dale. The organization as a whole.
By the way, the one thing we did not touch on that was interesting, kind of slid by us, and I think it would turn out to be a kind of a little bit of a non-story. I thought it was kind of a big deal to where I think it was last weekend when the bench coaches got on the players and they had that big rally.
That was 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah,
It wasn't this Sunday. It was the Sunday before.
Was it that long ago now? Yeah. I just because Troy did a interview on baseball, the national show,
and he
on the night they asked him, so what was said, and then it's a non-issue.
After the game, he gave his standard Tory answers. Then he goes on the national program and starts spilling the beans.
Yeah, and it's like
Jeff Bannister and Dave McKay, they kind of came together and really put a spark. I mean, I think
I've noticed they've kind of been picking up in that dugout. Like if you watch it where the camera pans to the dugout, you'll see them in the background like involved now, and I've seen them give angry looks to players and things while Tory's just
No, but Torrey's given him permission to do that.
Well, that's my point. So I don't know if that's changed recently, if it's been happening all the time, but people are noticing. I'm not the only one that's noticing. People are noticing that happening now. Yeah, but it is fascinating though. But if you're the type of coach that Torrey is, you need somebody like that you have permission that can.
I think Bannister is an interesting prospect or candidate, I should say, for a managerial job.
Well, I mean, if they were going to move on from Torrey, he would have been the guy I would have moved up into that spot because I want to see what he could do.
I'm not necessarily saying for the Diamondbacks. I'm just thinking.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think he's in because I think he's an old school manager that has a new school touch. Now, does that work long term? I mean, we'd have to find out, kind of a deal. But but I would like to see him get a chance. That's kind of why I was on that pre-All-Star game before they cut Pavin Smith and went on that winning streak. I was kind of like, if they move on from Torrey, Bannister's the guy. I want to see what he can do with this team, and so it's just, just the hitting. Like I said, it's twofold here, Dale. You keep making fun of me on this. It's either the coaching staff's coaching it and nobody's listening, or they're not coaching it. And both of them are bad situations in terms of hitting.
And you know what? I do want to just turn the page just a little bit because I'm just curious. I know Steve always has these opinions. I wonder what his take was because I didn't catch it when the Cardinals finally signed number 7.
I know what you're going with.
Well, because there's a couple things we need to get to. I mean,
we'll take our break and come and hit up the Cardinals stuff.
We'll do the Cardinal thing. I mean, I don't even know why they could play the NBA season. I mean, the 76ers are going to win the title.
Hey, to me, they're look. I don't know who I like out of the Spurs and the Thunder in the West. Probably lean towards the Spurs again. Because I know that the Spurs have. The Thunder have lost Lou Dort and
traded him.
Another guy. Yeah, and I will say that without question, and I don't understand Vegas. Vegas has the Knicks with the best odds.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
All the power polls I saw have the Knicks ranked number 1.
It makes no sense. The Knicks got on a perfect run.
Right,
they're not going to replicate that. And so now you look talent for talent. By far and away, the Sixers blow them out of the water.
Yeah, as we go to break here, just keep this in mind. Joel Embiid's missed more games than he's played in his NBA career. LeBron James has been hurt a lot lately as he's gotten older
No, LeBron
on that
will be
stuff.
there.
You've
LeBron will
got
be
Brown, of course, coming over from the Celtics. He'll be all right, and he'll play well. So Maxey on that team as they're starting.
VJ
So
Edgecombe,
you
don't forget that
have
rookie. That's a
some
bad boy.
you have some health question marks you got to wonder about on the
VJ
76 team.
Edgecombe, do not disrespect that rookie.
We'll talk about that. Cardinals as well when we come back with the legend, Bruce Cooper. Come on back, folks. And we're back here with Bruce Cooper here on this Tuesday. Of course, you know him as Dale Hillestray over here. I point to him as well. If you can't tell me and Bruce apart, I'm your humble host over here.
I'm the one with the hat.
That's the only difference between us.
You're the legend. Steve's just humble.
Yeah, it's literally legend. Really great guy and known for stuff. And then this guy. I'm just going to call myself this guy.
Coop, the other thing I told Steve last week, guys, we were talking about the Cardinals getting ready to go to camp and all that. I used to hate with a passion, the smell of fresh cut grass. I used to hate it because that meant training camp was coming, and you walk out
his
that
face
first
was being rubbed in it.
Full pads on. I mean, we'd already had 6 practices, two a day practice in full pads by now.
Yeah, during your era.
Yeah,
during your era, much different than the cupcake era now.
Yes.
He was telling a story where they literally showed up to camp, you do all your conditioning, and then you're in full pads hitting.
You have a meeting. So say you're reporting on Wednesday. You go to Dallas for 2 or 3 days beforehand, get that out of the way. You go down to Austin on Tuesday, have a meeting at 8 o'clock Tuesday night. 8 o'clock in the morning, you got full pads on. You're walking out there and you're going inside run immediately.
Yeah, I remember during Buddy Ryan's run with the Cardinals. I mean, you
got a winner in town, Coop.
Yeah. I would go into each practice because they would have a morning and an afternoon. I'd go and eat with story ideas and guys I want to interview and stuff. But I'll be darned, every practice was greeted with some big brawl. I mean, there was always a fight, and so that always superseded my. I mean, it's like Buddy invited these brawls.
Some coaches like it.
And I mean, there were some really good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Clyde Simmons got into one with an offensive lineman that was really good.
Yeah.
And so, it's just amazing how things turn, because I was reading the other day. They had asked LaFleur his thoughts on fights in camp, and I do remember that, that would become a topic of conversation regardless of who the Cardinals coach was. Bruce Arians wasn't having any fights.
No, there was a fight. He got mad.
Yeah.
Well, that's because of the threat of injury. You're punching somebody's helmet, and then you've got a broken hand.
Like Dale's trying to point to. Yeah. He hated that smell because he knew the physicality that was ahead of him. Physicality that is not really prevalent in today's game.
Well, they reported last Wednesday. Today's their first full padded practice.
Is it or just helmets?
No, I heard today was. It doesn't mean they're hitting, but I think today's their full padded day. Doesn't mean they're hitting though, Dale.
And then
but they were helmets and shells yesterday and stuff like that.
Coop, and that's the other thing.
That's what I was reading.
You're walking out to that first practice feeling the best you're going to feel for the next 6.5 months. Because that first practice, you're going to jam a finger, you're going to tweak an ankle, you're going to do something that's going to last you until February.
Some little garbage first year guy trying to put his face on film is going to come a little too hard at you and step on you and stuff like that. Really quick before we get into the football talk really fast, Robert says on the YouTube chat, it's been 4 years of the Diamondbacks struggling against teams. I'm sorry, 4 months. I say years, but struggling against teams that are at around 500. That's been the Torrey's MO, for most of his tenure here is, they're 500 team. That's why I've monikered that name as well. He also says change of scenery. Can we start with Torrey? He says, and Hazen.
Nothing would please Steve more.
I agree with Robert. I think he's a really good manager. I think he'll get picked up in 2 seconds by another squad to be their manager. It's just I think we need a voice change here, type of it. And I'm not sure Torrey's the problem, by the way. Might be Hazen might be the problem. So so as negative I is on him, Coop, I actually support the guy a lot. I think he's a really good manager. It's just I'm tired of it. He says, and I agree with him on this. Scooble's going to LA because they have the most to give up, and I think the Dodgers.
Like you think they'll give up Shohei?
Yeah, you think that's what it's going to take? You think that's what they're going to ask? The Tigers are going to be like, we'll take Shohei.
They need Scooble like they need a hole in the
No,
head.
but they also didn't need half the people they signed in the offseason, but they did it anyway as well. And then he says, if anyone comes back, meaning the injured Diamondbacks players, he said they will be rushed back because that's what the Diamondbacks do. They bring them back, just a little bit too early. Doesn't mean they get hurt again, but they struggle when they first come back instead of letting them get their game. So it's something to watch on these pitchers they bring back. And he brings up the point on Miller I didn't even think about. He's only making $4 million. They have your rights till 2030. So that's why a lot of people will want him, but that also means he's going to be very expensive to get.
Well,
If you do trade for him.
again, I mean, he is the premier closer in baseball.
Yeah.
And if the Padres traded him, and let's look, I know that the Padres they've had some good talent. I mean, they acquire people, and I look at the Washington Nationals. Well, Washington Nationals now they have a guy named C.J. Abrams and James Wood. Both guys are one's over 30 home runs, other one's right at the precipice of 30 home runs. I mean, those are guys that they acquired from the Padres. So the Padres, maybe they're trying to restore their own farm system and will give up a guy like Miller to try to, but then they're going to find themselves in need of a closer.
Well, that's a problem. You run into that. It's like the Cowboys last year when they got rid of Micah, and then Micah goes to Green Bay, and then they go, oh, man, we need better pass rushing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, it's almost like you had an all-time talent guy at that position that you gave up on him as well. First day of camp, I'm looking at a Steelers fight on the field right now. Speaking of fights, if that is today, it says actually yesterday. It looks like if everything's AI now, you can't tell. But a Steeler fight yesterday. All teams have reported to camp. Starting to 26 remaining teams report back today as well around football here. So before we get into the Cardinals, really quick, the Shanahan story. I got an update for you guys. Did you hear about this? Gets in a serious car accident.
Yeah.
Gets held. Nobody talks about it. Local media, and I say all the time, I know why the local media sat on it. Because they know that they can be kicked out. You know this. Dale certainly knows this with our local football team.
You can't report.
You cannot do things that upset the home team because they will pull your credential and not let you in there anymore. So I understand the local media, but now ESPN's in cahoots with them. I contend NFL buying 10% of ESPN is going to lead to more of these types of situations. But we asked yesterday, why keep that quiet for 12 days or whatever they did? What's the reason? I mean, he was in a serious car, unless something. And now we're finding out he had a phone in his hand and data was going back and forth at the time of the accident. Yeah. But why keep that a secret? He almost lost his eye, according to Chris Sims, who's best friends with him, by the way.
Yeah. Well, here's the difference here, though. Local media cannot report what they are seeing in practice.
Yes.
This was not a practice situation.
No. Guy driving down the road.
So they could have, local media could have, and this is how you get away with it, too. And because it's really a news story, that involves a sports, in terms of what some TV news directors think. So in other words, if we're at Channel 12, and so now they're not going to pull my credentials because
it's a news story.
Because Mark Curtis and Kareem Devine.
This is my point I'm getting at. The sports people didn't have to report on it.
Yeah.
That's a serious accident that happened. That would be, and God forbid, a Cardinals coach gets in a serious car accident on his way home today. That's a news story that he almost lost his eye, and then you do it that way. They were just quiet about it completely.
Yeah, that makes no sense. But
I don't know if you know the timeline. ESPN, they announced it at noon a couple days ago. Adam Schefter had a story out, 70-something word story out a minute later. 3 minutes later, ESPN had a story up, which means they were sitting on it. They knew about it. They knew when it was going to be announced. They were told not to announce it before in national media. That's what's concerning to me. We're going to see more and more of this type of stuff.
I don't know. See, a team is not really going to be able to control there. I mean, they're not Donald Trump. Who
How do you
has,
explain
the
that then?
FCC. Well,
How do you explain
well,
that? PFF.
Well, no. Here's
Mike
the deal.
Florio. It was reportedly Chris Sims kept it from Mike Florio, so he couldn't report on it until it was announced.
Well, I look a lot of that. I just know this that there, especially with TV, because I know this happened in my 34-year career. Like let's say there's
You've been through this a few times, I imagine.
let's say there's a player up for a rape allegation or a player up for domestic abuse or something like this, or some big police blotter story, and so your news directors. What they do is they send a news reporter
Okay.
to there, and now the news reporter asks the questions that they don't want you to ask
Yeah,
because
so you
it will
can be
get your-
protected?
right?
So,
Yeah, right.
But
And
that's the argument, though. It wasn't done.
So yeah,
It was swept under the
there's
rug.
too many media in San Francisco, which I believe is what the fourth market in
Yeah,
in
it's
the,
a huge market.
that they don't have savvy people that would
They
that
would
do
report
that.
on a car accident
And-
that is so bad that somebody has
Well-
a major concussion and almost losing life. They would report on that every day at the evening news.
Of somebody
and so
significant.
it just leads me to
Exactly.
believe. It just leads me to believe that it's just news that escaped them, because see,
I've seen some people go through the reports that the police and stuff were kind of holding back on reports and stuff to that effect and not put it out there.
Sometimes police won't release some things, so what the media does is they file a motion
Yeah.
of discovery through the courts,
Right.
and then they eventually get granted it. But
Remember when the Cardinals had training camp in Flagstaff? And I don't remember the two linemen's name, but they were starters. And remember, they were driving up there and they got in that car accident, and one of them hurt his arm
sure
or
I did.
whatever.
Sure,
Oh,
I
yeah.
do. I
I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
But I mean, that was all over the news,
Sure,
instantly.
But here's the deal. Now you got to help me with this timeline. Things like this. When was the accident, and when did the 49ers report to training camp? Because that's when you would notice.
12 days, 11 or
that-
12 days.
Well, see, here's the deal.
The accident, I wanted, don't get me,
If the
it was like
acc-
July 14th was the accident.
Okay.
They reported the 25th or
Okay,
something
so
like
that's
that.
that's the
It's
25th
something like that.
is when the media will notice that, hey, where's Shanahan?
That's why they announced it beforehand.
Because
yeah.
from the 14th all the way to the 25th,
The media
you-
doesn't hang out at the camp at the site,
there's
right?
No,
Okay.
yeah, there's nothing going to. It's still they'll tell you it's still the players and coaches
Yeah.
off time.
One of the
And
guys
then-
for the San Francisco Standard said, I didn't report on it because I only knew about 15% of what happened, so I didn't want to report on it. So now, do you dig into it or do you not dig
I
into
just
it?
know this that if Kyle Shanahan got into a big accident and it's a near death situation,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I mean, I can't think of a media that's going to
That- this-
hold back on that just
this is where I
because
struggle with it,
just
Coop.
because they don't want the San Francisco 49ers cannot hold your credential because your news people went and reported on this.
I
this
asked
event.
Dale this yesterday. Why would you keep something like this quiet? We find out when head coaches go in for a routine surgery.
I truly believe in this situation, it's one in which it was something that just wasn't out there. They
I'm
didn't
just
know
talking about
it.
the Niners. Why don't you put a statement out? Our head coach was in an unfortunate
they
a
ain't
couple
doing
days
that.
later. They do it all the time for other
ain't-
things.
They ain't doing that.
Well,
Trust
well,
me, they ain't doing that.
And the thing in the very back of my mind is, was there something else involved?
Yeah, and it came out. The police report showed that he had
it
his
was
phone in his
phone.
hand,
Okay,
so
it's
he
a
wasn't
phone.
paying it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you crash into a. Who
No,
did he
no,
hit?
I
The family
understand,
and-
but I was thinking more sentence.
Well,
Well,
that's left to be. But
But-
that's the other thing. You announce this 11-day going into camp. A lot of questions show up on the first day of camp. Do you need that distraction when you're showing up to camp?
Well,
When you already
well,
have the Ayuk situation, you have the power lines everywhere. You got to talk about.
Well, let's just put it to you like this. I just think that I don't think that if some guy said he only had 15% of it, shoot, man, if anyone that has 15% of something and they know that it was an accident, the first thing you go to the police department.
Exactly. You figure
And you
it out.
start
from
and
there.
you start asking.
It's very easy to go from
when you don't- and when you
15%
don't- If
up.
you're not getting any answers you want there, you go to the court and you file a motion
Right.
of discovery and get them.
Have you ever
And-
had to do that?
Huh?
If
Oh,
you-
our news people do it all the time.
yeah.
But even then, you pick up the phone and you call somebody you know in the Niners organization. You know people. You know that. You could have called a dozen people and at least
here's
inquired.
Here's the deal. What they're going to tell you anyway.
I know.
If you
Still
call
gotta
them,
ask.
and especially let's say you go through the Cardinals PR people, they're probably not going to answer because it's still their vacation time. They're still technically off the clock because now when they report, they and they'll tell you this. They're not getting an off day until their season's over.
No, I
I mean
get
they're pretty much, and so they're working holidays. They're working, and so they're not. And so now, if
Yeah,
you
but
try-
if a player got injured, they'd be dealing with it.
If you tried to call a front office executive or something like that and say, "Hey, I heard this," and it says, they may tell you, "Hey, look, they can tell you some stuff off the record.
Yes.
They can tell you stuff off the record. Now, if you report that, that's like suicide.
Right.
No, I get
and
that because it's going out there.
So now what you're
But it
hoping,
points you in the direction where you can investigate.
So now what you're hoping is someone like ESPN or somebody else breaks mentions it, because once they do, then I'm no longer bound by that.
Yeah, I've had somebody before feed me some information. I won't say what it is. Feed me some information with the hope that I would start talking about it and do a little bit of research and start talking about it so they could start talking about it. And this is somebody fairly big. And I didn't do it because I was like, something's up with this. Like, why do they want me to talk about this? Like, and can kind of do all this stuff and everything. But they were doing it from what I guess, they were doing it to a lot of people. So the rumors could get out there and then they could go, here's what I've learned, based around it. And I was like, that's kind of shady, but I get it, type of a deal.
Coop, the only thing I'd say about this, it's a head coach in the NFL. There's only 32 of them. And you would think that it would have made some type of impact.
There's not a TV news director that would have sat on that story.
Right.
Even if it wasn't Kyle Shanahan, that's leading the news of a giant accident with serious injuries or somebody almost lost an eye. That is serious news on every newscast.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nothing.
And because they didn't know.
Yeah.
That's why they just didn't know.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that.
You're in the news. That's why I wanted to ask you.
It's true. It's true. I would promise you, there's not a single. I mean, they're and then when they found out, now that they're leading every newscast with that information, that's their top story.
Every news director you've ever known would be salivating if they heard there was even a rumor of something like this, right? Like they'd be sending everybody out.
Hey, you have everyone. They have their big staff content meetings. They probably have 3 or 4 of those a day, because they have all these different various shows, and they'll assign the reporters to go on, and then they start blocking what's our lead story in each one. Kyle Shanahan accident would have been the lead at their 4, their 5, their 6, and their late evening newscast.
Yeah.
I mean, and they would have had different sidebars with relative to it.
They're
not going to sit on it. They're not going to sit on it.
I mean, it's a head coach being in an accident where he has to miss the beginning of training camp is a big deal as a player getting in trouble or injured. If this was the no offense to special teams coach or offensive coordinators, he can probably live without you for a little bit. But a head coach?
Oh, they're going to notice that. Yeah, look, the 49ers, when they knew whatever their first day of report day was, and they know,
say it was the
they know
23rd,
that they have to get that information out
Yeah,
because everybody's going to ask, well, where's Shanahan?
Everybody's sitting there going, where's Shanahan there? Yeah, right? I mean, we went through that with Jacoby. Is Jacoby going to be there or not, right? You'll notice that. It's just a fascinating story, but I'm looking at it on the bigger picture as well, going, oh, man, this is just a way for the NFL to hide news now, with their entities that they partly own going forward. But, Coop, you wanted to ask me a question about number 7, huh?
Yeah, I'm
Kevin Johnson?
Yeah.
What's he up to now?
How about that? Hey, I'm curious what your take was when the Cardinals finally signed him and you saw the number.
Mm-hmm. I was 0.5 off from what I was hearing. I reported, was it about a week and a half ago, Dale? I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I was told $15 million was the number that Jacoby's been asking for.
Okay. Now,
and I was told that 2 weeks ago, and I came on air and said I'm hearing $15 million a week or so ago.
Yeah,
and it came in at 15.5. That's where I feel he should be paid.
Okay, but that's not the point. So what are your thoughts surrounding that signing?
I think it's what they should have done 6 months ago. Why were they arguing over this?
There you go.
It is stupid. You're arguing with your starting quarterback at $15 million. And I broke it down. I don't think you were here. I broke it down. Geno Smith is the closest starting quarterback scheduled to start. He's making, I want to say 19 million, range and stuff like that. 15 million for a starting quarterback for a 1-year deal when you can afford it. What are you even arguing about that for? Why are you arguing, Coop?
Yeah, and so when I saw that number, because I didn't know what it was, I said if the dude, because we already knew that his backup Gardner Minshew was going to make more money. than
7.5 or something like that.
And so look, we all understood the parameters there. When the Cardinals signed Jacoby and he agreed to this 2-year deal, he did so to be a backup.
Only
but
a backup.
now once Kyler's moved on and you've anointed, your Cardinals front office anointed him as the starter.
That's where they went wrong, Coop.
Yeah. And so now that changed the game plan. That changed the dynamics and everything. And so for me, it's like, dude, you brought in a new coach with a new system. Now, if it was the same coach, it wouldn't be that big a deal.
This
but
is my
it's
problem.
a new system.
Me and Coop are on the same page.
And so for you to allow, how many months did you say that was? Whatever it was. I guess March.
February, March.
March 11th was the new
He missed
league
all
year.
of OTAs. He missed all of that. Yeah.
So March 11th was a new league year. That's when you can start signing free agents.
Because they anointed. Yeah, that's right. Because Kyler left them, and they anointed him the starter
Right.
when they released Kyler on the
And so
first
from
day.
March to now, what's that about like 4 or 5 months? Look, this, and he didn't get any reps with the OTAs or with the mini camps. And so that's time
And a
lost.
new system.
That's time lost under a new system with a new coach for a quarterback that is essential to your the livelihood of your team. I mean, it's essential.
Here's my only wonderment about this.
Dale has a very good point that you have to wonder.
Was this what Jacoby was asking for in April? Or was he asking for $25 million
That's the
back
thing
in
we don't
April?
know.
Was he asking for 30? Was he asking for 21? What was he asking for? And this is where they settled finally? Because it's a no-brainer. If Jacoby said, I'll take $15 million, let's get on with this thing, boom. You sign him 1 year, doesn't affect you next year or the year after.
So the timeline, going with what Dale's saying, the timeline, and see, that's the question that you got. I don't think so. I was told 15 million was the number about 3.5 weeks ago. And then the people started reporting. Then I saw a good friend of the program, Chuck Harris. He reported 15 on his own. I saw Gambadoro report 15 million once they came into camp last week. So that number was kind of solidified and stuff to that.
That still doesn't go to Dale's deal of what was he asking for.
I agree with that. But here's the problem that I got. It's the perception, the Cardinals' perception of their organization.
Sure.
What we have to go with now is the Cardinals were arguing to pay their starting quarterback $15 million, and they sent their team on the as a negative start by arguing over and ending up at 15. It could be Jacoby was asking for 25, and they weren't going to do that.
But here's the deal. See,
the perception.
Jacoby doesn't have an agent.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think he knows the game. And so I don't think he would have, and that's just my opinion. I don't think he would have ever asked for something like in that 25 million or 20 million.
He was probably asking how much Geno Smith is getting paid with the Jets, which is 19 million. He's probably asking in that range.
Okay.
Get me closer to that number. I'm a starting quarterback.
But the way that I look at it is, in the Cardinals' defense in this situation, as far as asking for $25 million,
we will never have any of that here, Dale.
Is the fact that I have a feeling the Cardinals might have leaked that. Hey, this guy wants $28 million a year.
Well, that's what I say.
And so we can't.
That's what we all say.
We can't meet that asking price. Well, we agree he needs a raise.
We've been talking about that for 3 months now. Jacoby's not asking for too much because the Cardinals were leaked that he's asking for, and they'd say the figure. Oh, Jacoby's asking for 30 million, and we'd all go no.
Well, I will say this: if Geno Smith is making the least of a starting quarterback at 19 million, I would say that.
I want to say it's 19.
If I'm Jacoby, I would say, well, that's where we start at.
But even if it is 19, that's I said up to 20.
Yeah.
But even if it's 19 for a starting quarterback, what are we doing?
I agree because I don't want
19.5 million for Geno this year.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say he was asking for 20. Because I know his guaranteed money is now
Up to
with
21.
incentive,
Yeah.
with incentive.
By the way, the 15.5 is guaranteed to Jacoby. It's all
Okay.
guaranteed.
All right. Well, but my point is this: is that I have a new head coach.
Yeah.
He's never been a
Mm-hmm.
head coach before. He's coming in with a brand new system.
Mhm.
Why don't I give him every opportunity to succeed?
Yeah, that's my argument.
And so if it means that I got to pay this dude, and I'm gonna look around, and I'm gonna be smart about it too. Okay, I agree with you. Here's the minimum that here's the lowest salary of a starting quarterback of the other 31
the
starting
schedule.
quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and will at least meet that.
Yeah.
And so that should have been done. I mean, because it was the Cardinals, not Jacoby, that came out and said he's our starter.
Right.
Everybody that is on, because a lot of people are upset, the Cardinals caved and gave Jacoby this money because they only won one game last year. We've talked about that here. The offense moved when he was in there and things to that. But people are like, it's not worth doing that to. My argument is it could have been Jacoby, it could have been Gardner Minshew. If you name Gardner Minshew the starting quarterback, the starting going rate for your starting quarterback in 2026 is not $7 million. It's not $10 million.
Well,
It starts at $19 million with Geno Smith.
And the reason why Gardner Minshew would play at $7.5 million as a starter,
Because he came and signed it.
yeah, because he signed as a backup.
Yeah.
And now, if you become that starter because of injury or because of holdout
Yeah.
or because of performance, well, that's your salary. That's what you pay. You came in as that.
Exactly.
So now
That's what I mean. He signed this year.
So
yeah.
okay. So now, he's different. So, but Jacoby, they said he's the starter.
Right.
And so if I'm the Cardinals and I'm trying to play fair, and I didn't realize that Geno Smith was 19 and a half. That's where I start.
Right.
We
That's
broke,
where I start.
yeah, it's the perception, right? And like you said, Dale could be correct. Jacoby might have been asking for 30. I doubt it because the Cardinals would have leaked that to Schefter or Rappaport months ago, and we would have seen the number. He's asking for 30 million. The fact he wasn't tells me he's always been in that 15, 19 million range. It's the perception of this team.
It just
If you want to have any chance to have some wins this year and have a decent team, why are you starting on your back foot by having this argument, this distraction over $15 million for a starting quarterback, Coop?
well.
That's a rounding error for these guys.
Well, let me put it like this: the fans who are upset
A
that
lot
the
of 'em.
Cardinals acquiesced and gave a guy this type of money that only had one win. Look, I know this much: Jacoby Brissett has had 10 years and 6 different teams to prove what type of quarterback he is.
Right.
He's shown us over the previous 10 years what type of quarterback he is. His percentage, as a starter, and his winning percentage is like that 1-11. I mean, it is slightly. I think I saw something like he's 20 something and 55
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
He's played some bad teams.
Yeah,
too, though.
well, that's just who. But that is. But are the Cardinals a good team?
No,
Okay.
but it's
And
more.
so-
it's more than
and
wins
so-
and losses on the quarterback.
And so,
though.
I'm not going to get all upset because the dude won one game and lost 11. I mean, he is who he is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything more from him.
But you also would admit that the Cardinals offense looked better under him.
Okay, and so then I have to ask myself this question. They looked better under him, but they were 2-3 with Kyler and should have been or could have been 5-0, save 3 consecutive walk-offs.
Yeah.
So you could sit here and poo-poo all you want about Kyler Murray, but the facts are the facts. When he left after 5 games at 2-3, and keep in mind, his record as a starter with the Cardinals, 38, 48-1. Anybody who played as his backup,
Was way worse.
They were like 5-29,
Right.
and that
an amazing
includes
stat.
Jacoby at 1-11.
Yeah.
So say whatever it is you want to say, but I've always felt this: Kyler gives you the best chance to win because he is that talented, and because he can make plays off script, make plays with his feet. But if I didn't put the talent around him, that's my fault.
Well,
That's my fault as
and
organization.
again,
And-
the defense, I didn't even realize this. Do you know how many points the defense averaged giving up last year?
It was the worst in the NFL.
About 30-something points.
Yeah, and it was the worst in the NFL.
35 points a game.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, yeah,
to worse in
and
the
so here I look at I'm gonna tell you, I expect this Cardinals. I know a lot of people, and I learned this from you. They're Vegas has them underdogs in all
Everything.
17 games.
Last time I checked, yeah, including the Jets.
I'm going to tell you this. Based on what the Cardinals did, I mean, they basically had no running game last year.
Mhm.
Zero. And so now I think running back is one of the strengths of this team. But if you look at the number of skill players and play, because I always talked about this, they lack playmakers. They lack difference makers. That's why I was such a big Jeremiah Love fan.
Right.
I was also a big Bijan Robinson fan. You know, they just Cardinals, and they finally went after a difference maker in Jeremiah Love, and then you got this big bruiser Tyler Algier. Look, I love Algier, and so all of a sudden, my previous best running back James Conner.
Wait, you forgot one.
No, my previous best running back James Conner.
Let's talk about Trey.
He's now number 3 on that depth chart.
And he should be as a 30-year-old.
Then I spent the Cardinals spent a 3rd-round pick on a guy named Trey Benson. Benson's been a bust, but you know
He ain't gonna be on this
you
team.
saw what he did at Florida State. So he has some skill. I never would have got rid of Amari DeMarcado, even though he had that egregious drop at the 1-yard line after 77 yards. I mean,
He would be an odd man out even now.
I'd have gotten rid of.
Well, hold on. You guys aren't taking into account.
Benson's going to be gone.
Did you guys not see Nathaniel Hackett's press conference the other day?
I watched it.
What's that?
Well, he said, yeah, he's a rookie and he'd probably be our 2nd or 3rd running back.
He said that about who?
Love.
Wow.
No, but we got to keep in mind. Hold
Nathaniel's
on.
an idiot.
I know, but Nathaniel's an idiot. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, everybody, what Love is doing in practice has made impressions on everybody. Do you want to go out there and be like, Love's our number 1 running back? He's an all-star. He's going to be an all. You want to stifle that talk down going into the season.
Look, people can see his feet because I always talk about it. Look, you talk about an offensive line, and you saw Barry Sanders play. I don't know if you did.
I did. I was young, but I saw him.
You saw when the defensive
I'm
lineman.
not that young, Coop.
Okay, well, I don't know. Defensive lineman got in the backfield, and because of his feet, his quickness, he's evading tacklers in the backfield. Hey, Jeremiah Love has this spin move. He has his quick feet. He can catch. I mean, he can do things that Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley do out of the backfield with their hands.
It's another option, another weapon.
It is. It just look. I'm the game that one of the walk-off losses that the Cardinals had to the 49ers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
San Francisco was in a 4th down situation and so I said, okay, just make one stop. And it wasn't Brock Purdy because Brock was hurt. Who got the quarterback?
Mac something.
Mac Jones?
Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac. Okay, he got the ball to
Thank you.
some dude named Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield. 8 yards, 1st down, moved the sticks, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. And so that's and I'm just telling you, to have a difference maker or a playmaker like that, it means everything. I expect this Cardinals offense to really tune because let me tell you something. We already learned what Michael Wilson can do. And you know what? I heard Michael Wilson say this. It just blew me away. The question that was posed to him, it says, hey, look, what's the difference between why you were able to get going under Brissett, but you couldn't get it going under Kyler Murray? And so I said, what is an interesting question?
Sunday, I think.
I want to hear this.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? He said, and this goes back to our point of when Marvin Harrison played and Wilson played. Wilson became invisible game, but the minute Marvin didn't play, Wilson played, and it made all the sense in the world. Michael says, because I was playing the X.
Mm-hmm.
He says, when with Kyler, I always played the Y. I always played the Z.
Mm-hmm.
I always played the Z.
We talked about that yesterday, Dale.
And he says, but when Marvin went out, I was able to play the X, and I'm playing that with Jacoby, and I'm like, dude, I'm like,
Which
wow.
is your first receiver on an offense,
And
if you don't know.
So I'm thinking, dude, why don't we just change that now going in? Because
well, he's not going to be the X now. Marv's scheduled to be the X, but I think he's going to beat him out for that spot.
Well, this is what I heard, and they said he remains like the Z, but see in the LaFleur offense, it's the same one that Puka Nacua ran.
Yes.
So Puka gets all the intermediate, all the other routes and stuff like that, the big plays, stuff like that, and the X,
they cleared out,
which was Devontae Adams. Devontae gets all those red zone because Devontae led the NFL in touchdown receptions.
It's the shorter, high-profile routes, like the third and 8. They go to Devontae Adams in the Ram system, but Marv's got to catch those.
Yeah. But it was really a fascinating question because we
talked about that yesterday because I heard him say that. So I had to get some, from somebody that was in the. I know he doesn't run receiver routes and stuff, but you told about that Michael Irvin story where, he switched from an X to a Z one time because was it Harper getting all the catches, so he switched, and then Harper started getting all the X ones.
To just bring Coop up real quick. So in the NFC Championship game '92. Our X and Y were basically interchangeable because Troy, he read the safeties and whichever way they kicked. So Michael lined up at X or Y, coverage would be kicked towards him no matter what, wherever he lined up. So Alvin Harper had caught like 5 passes earlier in the game. They called that same route when we were on about the 10-yard line coming out in the fourth quarter. Michael said, I'm catching this ball. So he went to Alvin Harper's position. Harper went to his position, and again, everything came to fruition because they played the coverage, kicked it back over to Mike. Alvin Harper opened for a little slant over the middle. 80 yards later, he's down at the 10-yard line. That's how we win the 92 NFC Championship game. And Michael tells the story of, I'm running behind Alvin going, that's my ball. That's my ball.
Well, yeah,
but that's the flexibility that we didn't see with the offense last couple of years with Petzing that I'm hoping we see this year.
Well, then they'd already told me that Petzing was the problem.
Well, I think we've all known that.
Because if I have an offense that I'm tailoring to the X and to the tight end, and I'm just using the Z guy as just some superfluous route guy. I mean, it's not doing any good. So we never knew Michael Wilson's talent.
Right.
And all of a sudden,
after 3 years, we had no idea that he was this talent.
Yeah, but part of that was Michael Wilson's fault too, because the dude was always getting hurt.
I don't disagree with that.
He was carrying the injury bug that he had at Stanford into the NFL.
But you could tell the coaching staff didn't believe it because every time Marv came back, they made Michael Wilson disappear again.
Yeah.
So they were like, this isn't real.
And so because we would talk about it in this podcast, we would say, dang, whenever Marvin Harrison is on the field, Michael Wilson becomes invisible. And
Marv was an anchor.
And it didn't even matter if Jacoby was quarterbacking at this point.
Because you look at your X receiver first. You throw it to that position, so you got to move it around.
But that's a Petzing issue because I'm listening to Dale, and in Dallas, it was interchangeable.
I guarantee you it's going to – I shouldn't say guarantee. I'm 99% sure it's going to be interchangeable because look how this offense on the Rams ran. Puka catches it. Devontae Adams catches it. Higbee, the tight end, catches it. Yeah. And the ball gets spread around. And last year it was one. Even when Michael Wilson was dominating, it was Trey and Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
And then when Marv would come back, it'd only be Trey. But it goes to what Dale was saying, and it opened my eyes. We'd have to go back and look at the all 22 films last year, and I'm not going to do this study. If you want to do it, let me know. I'll get you the access and might throw you some dollars if you want to spend the time. I'm willing to bet you money. Michael Wilson, when Marv wasn't in there, was running the same routes as Marv. Coverage was different probably. He was getting more open kind of on that route run. And then when Marv was running those routes, I bet you wasn't as quick maybe. Maybe coverage was a little bit tighter on him, something to that effect. So it wasn't as successful with Marv as it was with Wilson.
But Steve,
it could be either one of those.
No, but Steve.
Because you just heard Dale say the route was around the same. It's just the coverage was different.
We saw way too many times when Marv, the ball hit his hand, and he just dropped the damn ball.
Here's my favorite part,
You can't get
folks.
away with that. And then we saw, unlike Michael Wilson, when you threw the 50-50 ball to Wilson,
He wouldn't got
Wilson caught it.
Yeah.
When you throw a 50-50 ball to Marvin Harrison, it becomes 0-100.
That's the only
When you throw a
thing.
75-25 ball to Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, it's one of those things where to make you a better than average receiver, what sets you apart is those 50-50 balls and stuff like that. But folks, look what I just did to Coop. Dale, I want you to know this is my magic. All along, I bashed Marvin Harrison for not being able to catch balls or whatever, and he defends him. Did you just hear that? I defended Marv, and he just went after him and said he can't catch balls.
I don't defend, dude. I haven't defended.
No.
I found it.
No, you think he's going to have a breakout year this year, and I just don't see it.
But I said,
That's what I mean.
I said he has to.
Oh no,
I
he
mean,
does.
Dude. I
does.
said the dude he has too much talent, too much pedigree not to.
Yeah,
I mean,
but we've
this
seen
has,
a long. David Boston had a lot of talent, and he came in with nipple rings and all jacked up and couldn't catch a ball. And
This
couldn't catch a ball at all.
has to be
Dale's
the year
favorite.
for Marvin. But here's the deal. I didn't know. And look, I'll grant that LaFleur system maybe is different, but
We'll see.
whatever it is, I'm making Michael X and Marvin Z.
I think
Marvin's gonna
Michael.
have to break out as my Z.
I think
But
Michael Wilson's going to win that exposition by the end of the camp.
But
I'm guessing.
if the system is different, and they say that Michael Wilson is playing a system that Puka Nacua played, shoot, Puka's catching most of the balls. He's catching over 100.
Well,
He's and stuff like that. And I'll grant Matthew Stafford, when they got in the red zone, I mean, he was almost looking for Devontae Adams. He threw a lot of fades to Devontae. I think Devontae had like 14, 15 touchdown receptions.
But you kind of, I think he led the NFL.
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
remember right. He was up there at least.
He
But the
did.
thing you just brought up, and we'll leave on this note is, okay, you want to run that exposition as Marvin Harrison Jr. He's no Devontae Adams, at least so far in his career. To catch tight end balls, you've got to be able to get 50-50 balls.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to go out and attack it. You got to fight off those defenders. I don't know if he can do it, Coop.
Wow. And again, we spent the whole time, and maybe next week we can get into it. The biggest thing about this team is if they give up 21 points a game, they're going to be in a lot of football games.
Yes.
And is that defense going to be 14 points
you're
better?
right. You're right.
We'll save that for next week.
No, you're right, because they like I said, they have some playmakers. Finally, some different makers on that offensive.
Have you seen
side of
Walter
the ball.
Nolan so far in camp? He's explosive.
On the defensive side, I'm not really sure what they have up front.
They don't even have Josh Sweat in there yet.
I'm
by
not
the
sure
way.
what they have in their front seven, but I do like the way they have built this secondary. I like Will Johnson.
They can stay
I
healthy.
like Max Hilton, Denzel Burke. There, you're bringing back Starling Thomas healthy. And-
Bunting.
Yeah,
He's coming back?
Yeah, and you got in the safeties position, you got Buddha and Rabbit Harrison. I mean Demerson. I'm like, man, they've collected some nice pieces back in that
I told
secondary.
you guys, I think last year, and I think that's why they brought back their defensive coordinator. I think their defense was getting tired in the fourth quarter, being out there so much at the beginning of the game. I think that's why they brought him back, was they see some good with Rawlings as the defensive coordinator. Now it's up to the offense to hang on to the ball and not, going down and scoring in 2 plays is just as bad as turning the ball over or 3 and outs with that defense. They need their rest.
I'll never get mad at an offense
I
if
knew you were
they
gonna
get
say
a big scoring play.
Well, you think about.
I meant in terms of rest.
And
is what I meant.
I know we're completely out of time. Well, you just think about last year, Calais Campbell.
Yeah,
He came in here to be a spot player,
and he was their best defensive
and
lineman.
he ended up playing about 80% of the reps.
Yeah.
And he's 46 years old.
and in a couple of games that the Cardinals did win, Calais Campbell made the game-saving
Instrumental.
plays.
Oh, yeah.
He made the
Instrumental.
game-saving play. So I don't know what the true difference was, because the Cardinals played 5 games, and they played them against some very good, talented teams.
Early in the season.
Yeah, and they could have been 5-0, or I guess they could have been 0-5 too, if you look at it, because Calais did save the day on a couple of those. But I mean, they were right there. And then
I could tell you in those games there, I remember distinctly saying and thinking, that defense is tired. Like you could tell in those last 2 drives for the other team where they eventually lose it and things to that effect. I do remember distinctly thinking that early in the season.
well, look. Then you may have to rely. I'm not going to.
I'm just, all my point in that
I'm going to
is,
put it to you like this.
Okay.
I'm going to put it to you like this. I have been in locker rooms when guys have, and I've gone in there and they're just laying because they're dead tired. They're spent. They give you everything. They don't give in to the mentality that I'm tired. They make that play. And I remember there's two guys that I've done interviews with that when they go in there and they talk about mind over matter, mental. It's all mental. I mean, I learned that first. I learned that first from Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And I heard Michael Jordan say it, but I was there when Kobe. I mean, they don't allow for.
You just named two of the greats. I mean, let's be
Well,
honest here.
Well, but look, I did. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. If you're a professional, why can't you
Well, I mean,
come
Dale,
with that same mindset?
Dale can answer that. He probably can list he's not going to, I imagine, but he could probably list 20 Cowboys guys on every team that he's like, I don't want them in late in the game because they're not mentally tough.
Dale tells a story about Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know Michael was like that.
But again, one of the greats.
I appreciate that. Well,
that's what sets you apart.
Okay.
Because Marvin Harrison doesn't have that, I don't believe, because if he drops a pass early, he's out of the game.
Well, okay.
That's my argument.
But on that defensive end, defensive side of the ball, when you look, if it's third down, because the Cardinals are in these third down, and I talked about the fourth down play.
Field,
hey, man, dude, let's just make one play. You get in that huddle, when you get in that huddle,
I know.
dude, they got to do it.
Hey, that's what sets Super Bowl teams and non-Super Bowl teams apart, is that stuff. If it was so easy, Coop, everybody would do it.
I'm saying it's not easy, but you're giving them the excuse that they were tired.
I'm not
accepting
that's not the
that.
excuse. I'm just saying, I'm telling you, I expect an improvement on this defense this year because last year they were running into that situation, and I expect that to be different this year. Not an excuse. It was what it was. I'm expecting that to be different.
I watched the same games, and I didn't give them the excuse that they're tired.
Yeah, I'm an excuse maker.
I gave them the excuse.
Yeah, but and I know we got to go, but again, I used to laugh because I was friends with my offensive line coach, Hudson Houck, and when I'd come into the game, I probably played in 8, 9, 10 games a year, second half when somebody gets dinged up or whatever. And he would grade me on the Larry Allen scale. And I say, hey, Hud, either you're paying him way too much or you're not paying me enough because I can't bench press 800 pounds. But it's interesting. But when you talk about the greats and the grades, I see it on a defense. Most normal people, they have the will to get there. You can see it when the team gets tired of middle linebacker. He made those tackles first 2-3 quarters. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, he's half a step late and he's trying to arm tackle and
that's the
whatever.
Stuff I'm talking about.
Again,
that's what
we'll
I'm talking
see.
about.
We can talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll break it down. Robert says the Bay Area guys, meaning reporters, also missed reporting on Cream and Clear back in the day. So I guess we got to keep in perspective about the Bay Area reporters out there. Look, folks, the legend Bruce Cooper's here. Next Tuesday, we'll be talking and leading up to a Hall of Fame game. You know what? I want you to
baseball trade deadline.
Oh, trade deadline as well. But I want you to think. I know you have 1,000 Larry Fitzgerald stories. I know you're friends with him. You've let that be known out there. I'm not saying anything that's not known. I want one good Larry story next week from you that you haven't told anybody else. But what I want all this exercise, and I want you to think about it. Only because, guys, this is one of the greatest human beings you would ever meet if you met this guy. And I want Coop to tell us it so you don't hear
Coop
from me and stuff like that.
Still got full belly for the last time.
I know, right? I know. But I'm not talking about I'm just talking about just nice things he's done for people that you've seen, not for necessarily media or anything like that. Just the human being. He's going to be accoladed for his football accomplishments. Just tell us what type of guy he is and what's going into the Hall of Fame next Thursday night or next weekend. Just as a human being, we all know what he did on the football field. I want to hear the human side of Larry.
Got you.
There we go. That's a challenge. Homework for Coop today.
I already know the story.
All right. Look at that. All right. So next week we'll do that trade deadline. Of course, we'll see what the Diamondbacks do. Okay. Everybody else, we'll be back tomorrow, 8 to 10. Come on back and join us. See you later.